this water fell from up there. And sooner or later, all of this water will be back up there again. It's a cycle, a water cycle.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill.
TV funny man Bill Nye joins me on the next Jackie Smash Show.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill.
T minus 7 seconds.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Brought to you by water. Getting things wet for over 3 billion years.
So did you know that almost all the water in the world, almost all the water on Earth, is the same water that's been here since the Earth was formed? It's the same water that Columbus sailed on. It's the same water that cave people drank. So when you drink a glass of water, you could be drinking what was once dinosaur spit. See, water is this amazing substance. It can be a solid, like ice. It can be a liquid, like you drink. It can also be a gas or a vapor. But maybe the wildest thing is that water is always moving all around the Earth in something called the water cycle, up and down all the time. It's what scientists, maybe a scientist like you, calls the hydrological cycle. Now, hydro, that's Greek for water. So, hydrological water cycle, you with me? So, this is a water cycle simulator. So let's say we start right here, where water's a liquid. It's like the ocean or lakes. Anyway, something's making it change from a liquid into a vapor. Well, it's energy from this burner, or in the real world, energy from the sun. And that's called evaporation. See, vapor, evaporation, you with me?
Whenever water goes back into the air, we say that it evaporates. Evaporate. See the word vapor in there?
And look right here, when it's evaporated, it's invisible. Isn't that cool? So when the water vapor gets up here, it cools off and turns back into a liquid. Now, when the vapor turns back into a liquid, we call that condensation. We say it condenses.
Watch sometime when Mother pours hot water into the sink. When the hot steam touches the cool glass, it forms drops of water which are almost like raindrops. Heating water makes it evaporate. Cooling vapor changes it back to water.
So what do you think this part of our water cycle simulator is called? Way up here. What would that be like? It's like clouds. This is the clouds of our water cycle simulator.
But now, Billy, what makes this vapor return to Earth as water?
It rains. That's right. So down at this end, the liquid water turns into rain. It flows down here. Now that's called precipitation. That's a word you may have heard before. Now precipitation, that's when water's falling from the sky, like rain, snow, sleet, or hail. That's all precipitation. Anyway, it falls down and it collects in here. This could be like a lake or a stream. And then after a while, it flows to the sea to start the cycle all over again. Pretty cool.
Today on the Jackie Smash Show, a man who's both a comedian and a scientist, Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your friend, Jackie Smash. Come on over this way. I want you to meet somebody. It is a man who's both a comedian and a scientist. It's Bill Nye, the Science Guy. Nice to have you on the show, Bill.
Thanks, Jackie. It's great.
Hold the thought, Bill. We've got to take a break. We'll be right back. Don't go away, folks. We'll be back with Bill Nye, the Science Guy. Stay with us.
Water always evaporates into the air from the oceans and rivers and brooks. It evaporates also from plants. But while water is always evaporating into water vapor from some places on Earth, in other places it is constantly returning as dew, or fog, or frost, or snow, or rain. It's important to understand that the Earth and everything on it use the same water over and over again.
Here's a fresh trick that almost has nothing to do with the water cycle, but it's cool. You can write a secret message with invisible ink. Think it's just lemon juice. Squeeze the lemon and dip a swab in some of the juice. Then write a message to one of your friends. Let the water and the lemon juice evaporate. Hold it! Evaporation! This does have something to do with the water cycle. Anyway, when the juice evaporates, when it dries, you can't see the message. Hold it under an iron and get it real hot. The message reappears. Cool! Acid in the juice breaks down the fibers into paper a little. So heat changes the color of the paper so we can read the message. Invisible ink. It's evaporation. It's science. It's cool.
Now you're working on this new scientific principle, the
Logical cycle. That's
yeah.
it, the hydrological cycle.
Now
The water cycle. Hydrological cycle.
Yeah.
Right. The
Tell us
water
about
cycle.
that. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, I brought a clip.
Oh, you brought a clip. Good. Okay, let's take a look. Roll the clip. Here we go. Oh, sorry.
Good evening. Tonight on Molecule Moments, we're going to take a few moments to talk about what? Well, molecules. I mean, that's the name of the show, for crying out loud. Now you may have heard of molecules. They're tiny pieces of stuff, tiny particles. So tiny you can't even see them with a microscope. Now, everything in the universe, everything we can touch and feel, is made of molecules. And the molecules are always moving. So water's made of molecules too, and those molecules are moving as well. Fine. Anyway, take a look at this. Here's water at room temperature. And here's water boiling. Okay, now where are the molecules? Well, they're there. They're just too small to see. And they're moving. See, this one's getting heated. It's got more energy. The molecules are moving faster. These are going so fast that some of them are flying off to become what? Right, water vapor. Liquid is becoming a gas, a vapor. Okay, look at this. Think of these little balls as molecules. Now, when I turn it on like this, we'll say that's molecules moving around at room temperature, okay? And when they're going this fast, we'll say, well, that's like molecules boiling. Now, see how they fly up there to the top? Now, suppose I did this. Just fooling around. Anyway, what do you think happens to the water I squirted on the photographer? Well, I don't know. Okay, I do know, and so do you. The water will disappear after a while. It'll evaporate. Now, why is that? Why does it evaporate? The molecules, see, are only going fast enough to make it a liquid. I mean, I can see it if the water's boiling. You know, I mean, it would boil off and become a vapor. But it's not. I mean, what's going on? Well, let's take another look at the good old molecule machine. Now, let's watch the molecules real carefully this time. See, most of the molecules are bouncing along at about this level. And we said that's like room temperature right there. But some of them are bouncing so high, they once in a while get enough energy to jump up over the top. They bounce real high. And that's like water turning from a liquid to a gas. It's like liquid water becoming water vapor, see? See, the key is that not all molecules are going the same speed. Some of them are still going fast enough to turn into a vapor, even when most of them are a liquid. So, things like puddles can evaporate. Or the water I squirted on the photographer, it can evaporate even when that water is not boiling. See, it's all done with molecules.
And here's another way to answer your question, Billy. You may have helped Mother hang wet clothes out on the line. If water didn't turn into vapor and go into the air, those clothes would never dry, no matter how long they hung.
Boy, I'd sure like to try some of this stuff. Water, is it?
Yeah, try right there, yeah.
Oh. Mmm.
It is good, isn't it?
That is pure liquid.
It sure is. 3 billion years old.
That old?
At least, Jackie.
It's hard to believe because it's so refreshing.
Oh, well, that's the way water is.
You're kidding.
Every time it evaporates, goes into the sky and condenses and
Right.
falls as rain, snow, sleet, or hail, it's recycled. That's the nature of the water cycle, what we call the hydrological cycle.
I don't think I could live without this stuff now that I've tried it.
Yeah.
Now, you've offered some kind of challenge to your viewers. Tell me about that.
Well, instead of telling you, how about if I show you? You know, I brought a clip.
Well, good. Let's take a look at it. Let's look over here. Over here.
What would happen if you put a glass of water in a closet for a few days?
Well, try it. I said try it.
Hey, Joey.
Hey, Bill, what can I get you? The usual?
What do you mean the usual? Have I ever been here before?
Well, no, but I thought since it was a TV show, I just kind of follow along.
Oh, cool. Yeah, in that case, I'll have a banana milkshake in a frosty glass. Hold a shake.
Okay, right.
Okay, see that?
That's condensation, right?
You know about condensation?
Oh, Bill, I've been going to school for a while. See, the glass gets foggy because the water vapor in the air sticks to this cold surface, and it turns it into liquid, or like these little drops.
That's right, that's great.
Yeah, it is great.
Oh, listen, I gotta get going.
All right, you gonna go to the freezer?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, don't forget your helmet, all right?
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, that'll be about 25.
Oh, yeah. Tell you what, just hang on to it. See you, Joey. I love this guy. Hey, I'm in here. I'm in this giant freezer. Now, let's see what happens when I come outside where you are. See, the surface of my bubble helmet of science turns cloudy. That's because water vapor, which was floating around in the air, sticks to the cold surface in little liquid water droplets. Now, this process, this effect, this thing that happens is called condensation. It's the same thing that happens to people who wear glasses when they come in after being outside on a cold day. It's where clouds come from. Where'd you guys go? Oh, funny. Oh, very funny. Anyway, condensation is sort of the opposite of evaporation. Instead of liquid water gaining energy and becoming a vapor, water vapor loses energy and becomes a liquid. Little tiny droplets that stick to cold surfaces. It's a very important thing about condensation. Water vapor needs a place to stick in order for condensation to happen.
Look at the glass next time you drink your milk. Does it seem to sweat? Well, the glass isn't really sweating, of course, but it is wet. It's just the water vapor in the nearby air being condensed.
When clouds form, water vapor turns into tiny liquid water drops. But in order for that to happen, the water has to have some place to stick. It has to have something to stick to. So take a look at this. This is our big glass jug cloud apparatus of science. And we're going to make a cloud in here. First, we'll add a little water. This will be the water that will form our cloud. Just swirling it around a little. There. Now, using this pump, we'll pressurize the big glass jug. Then when I pull this rubber stopper off, the air in the jug will expand. And that's when a cloud should form. 3, 2, 1! See, nothing happened. That's because the water vapor didn't have anything to stick to. So what we're gonna do is add some dust. Just a tiny amount of dust. And to make the dust, we'll use the smoke from these two matches. That's all the dust we need to form a cloud. Now watch. We'll pressurize it again. When I pull it off, the air in the jug expands. And when it expands, it cools off. The same thing happens to air masses when they get blown around by the wind and pushed up high into the sky. 3, 2, 1! See? It's a cloud. It's the water cycle. It's science.
All right, now let me get this straight about the condensation thing. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. Liquid is looking for a surface to cling to. Is that pretty much it?
That's right. A cool surface for a condensation to happen.
I didn't notice that you wore glasses before.
Only for safety. I just carry them.
For safety?
But much of the vapor rises into the sky. There it condenses into tiny water droplets which gather into clouds. As more vapor rises and cools, the larger and darker the clouds become. When they are heavy with water, the rain falls.
So you can think of this penguin toy as kind of a model of the water cycle. Now watch. As the penguins go up their little plastic escalator of science, That's like evaporation. That's like little pieces of water going up into the sky. The energy for this comes from an electric motor and this battery right here. Of course, the energy for our own water cycle on Earth comes from the power of the sun. Anyway, when they get up here, that's like condensation. See, they all gather at the top, and when they get heavy enough, what happens? They fall down. What's that like? That's like precipitation, rain, right, sleet, snow, or hail, all that stuff. Look, there they go again. And when they get down to the bottom, they're collecting. That's like a river, a lake, or a stream, and then they start evaporating again. It's a big penguin cycle party. The same penguins go through the cycle over and over again, just the way the same water goes through the cycle on our own planet. So we saw how energy from the sun makes water on the land and the sea go up into the sky and form clouds. Well, now we're talking about when it comes back down. When it rains, you know, precipitation, rain, snow, sleet, and hail. Of course, it's got to be rain, and not somebody with a hose. Water droplets and clouds bump into each other and get bigger. So droplets like this bump into each other like this. See how they run down? Same thing in clouds. Droplets get bigger and heavier and they fall. Now where do you think they fall? Well, it's not up. Now this is rain. This is what happens when energy from the sun makes water on the earth turn into a vapor, goes up into the sky, sticks on little dust particles to make droplets. Those droplets stick together, they bump into each other and become big drops. Those drops fall here. And this is rain. Isn't it great? Woohoo! Precipitation is from Latin words that mean something like falling off a cliff. So precipitation is things falling. Things like rain, sleet, hail, and snow. This is snow. Oh, that's a helicopter. That's how we got here so fast. Anyway, snow forms when water droplets falling from the clouds freeze on the way down and make snowflakes. And then they pile up here. And right here, they stay here all the year round. This is a glacier. It's a river of ice, and it's moving. Now, where do you think it's moving to? Well, down there. And then energy from the sun comes in, and the water goes back up there. Then down here again. Then up and down, up, down. It's a cycle, remember? Anyway, this part of the cycle is called collection. The snow is collected. Then it flows downhill into a lake, and from there into a river, and from there out into the ocean. All the time, some of it's evaporating. It's another shun word, collection. It's like evaporation, then condensation, then precipitation. And this is collection, right?
The human body must have its water supply continuously replaced. Our bodies discharge about 3 quarts of water a day. We must put an equal amount of water into our bodies each day, or we perish.
So here's the deal. Almost all the water in the world, almost all the water that we know, is the same water that's been here since the Earth was formed. So if the Earth were as big as a baseball, play ball! How much water do you think there'd be for us to drink? How much? How much do you think there'd be? Well, it's not that much. Only be about this much. Now, that's not very much. Now, remember, every living thing, all living things on the planet need water to live, to survive. And this includes you, pal. That's why this whole thing is so important. The world's water resources are just not in as good a shape as they used to be.
I mean, all the water all over the world is a lot worse off than it used to be because of the action of humans. You know what I'm saying? Humans drain water, so the warming comes, it erodes, and that degrades the water supply even further. That makes a complete mess of everything. You know suffers? That's from the That's what I'm talking about. That's from the It's like that. And you know what? Then you think
Going a little overboard there, aren't you, Bill? I mean, it's just a water cycle, after all.
Yeah, but I mean, it's important to me, Jackie. The water cycle is... When you say just the water cycle, I'm not really sure you know what you're saying. I mean, the water cycle is the reason that you and I and the people watching at home, every living thing on the planet is able to live here because of the water cycle. So when you say just the water cycle, no living thing on Earth will be able to live without clean water. And the clean water depends on the water cycle.
Now?
If we pollute the water that's on the surface of the Earth,
with more of Bill Nye the Science Guy.
What's the big deal? I mean, you don't really think you know quite what you're saying, right?
I guess maybe I don't. I just said it.
Playing hard, getting thirsty. You need a drink, you need it now.
Sure, you can drink some syrupy soft drink or some reconstituted fruit punch, but your mom won't let you. So what do you drink?
Water, water.
it's cold, it's cheap, and it won't give you the hiccups. So the next time you build up a powerful thirst, drink what the pros drink. Water. Go on, drink it.
Drink water, water, quench that powerful thirst.
You should know that it all starts with the sun, evaporated oceans and lakes. We're here to tell you about
Rain, rain,
the water cycle makes it,
rain, rain,
evaporation makes it,
rain, rain,
condensation makes it.
rain, rain.
Sun heats the ocean, molecules go round and round. Going faster, they begin to jump up and down. Become water vapor flying up to the sky. Get together from a cloud, my oh my. I'm talking about condensation, you know it's fine. Water from the earth evaporates to the sky. And what condenses must come down just the same. And when it does, it's wiggity rain. You know that rain is precipitation. Collects and starts to evaporate. And then it starts all over, and that's a fact. That's the water cycle, you can believe that.
Rain, rain,
The water cycle makes it,
rain, rain,
evaporation makes it,
rain, rain,
condensation makes it.
rain, rain.
Your brain is on vacation if you don't know about precipitation. The water cycle never stops, you see. CYCLE. That's the cycle, and you know it's like that. The earth recycles water, you know it's not whack. It's all natural, it's not coincidental. Keep the water clean, cause that's environmental.
Rain, rain,
The water cycle makes it,
rain, rain,
evaporation makes it,
rain, rain,
condensation makes it.
rain, rain.
Peace, I'm out of here.
Well, that's our show. Thanks for watching. You'll excuse me, I've got some soil percolation rates to compute. See ya!
Produced in association with the National Science Foundation.
Okay, well, this is all very interesting, and I'll grant you that, Mr. Science Guy, but I don't understand what is the big deal with the science of water.
What do you mean, what's the big deal? I mean, water is what we're made of. I mean, water is what makes the water cycle go around. I mean, so all the living things on Earth depend on water.
I still
That
don't get it.
includes you and me,
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Our guest has been Bill Nye, the Science Guy. I'm Jackie Smash. Thank you for joining us, everybody. You guys.
All over the Earth, the power of the sun, around Jackie Schmack.